Today we're going to be talking about the top mistakes I see beginners make in meditation. And it breaks my heart to know that some longtime practitioners are making these same mistakes. I'm going to provide you 5 tips to overcome these mistakes so you could get the results that you're looking for. These 5 simple things are really going to transform your practice and take it to the next level. Hey everyone, my name's Rebecca. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy that you're here to learn about meditation. Yes, this channel is all about meditation, mindfulness, and every now and then we talk about a little manifestation magic. So if you're here for that, hit subscribe so you can stay updated on the latest. So let's get into it, shall we? Alright, the number one mistake I see people doing when they first start a meditation practice is switching to too many meditations in the beginning. I highly recommend that you stick to one meditation style or practice for an extended period of time. And the first meditation I want to recommend to you is mindfulness meditation. And I'm going to tell you why. I've been practicing meditation for almost 10 years. I've tried countless types of meditations, guided meditations from YouTube, from the apps, and sitting in silence, and after trying all of them, I really feel that mindfulness meditation is the simplest meditation practice that you could start with. Now, there are many different ways you could use meditation, which makes it so beautiful and amazing. But if you're a beginner, I want to recommend mindfulness meditation. Now, the first reason why is because it's very simple. Another reason why I recommend mindfulness meditation is because you're going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to understand yourself so much better. Mindfulness meditation is the act of sitting and observing and noticing what's happening, generally from a more inward perspective, because this is an opportunity for you to connect with yourself, to understand yourself, to notice how am I thinking and how am I feeling. A lot of the clients I work with, they're running around all day and doing so many things, and they don't really have a moment for themselves. And this is a moment for them to sit and breathe, ground their energy, settle their energy, come back to themselves, notice how are they thinking, how are they feeling. It's just such a beautiful practice. So I want to recommend not trying a lot of different meditations. Stick with one. I want to recommend starting with mindfulness meditation first because it is very simple. And then over time, you could work with your mindfulness meditation practice to change it a little bit. What I mean by this is that you could bring in a self-love focus in your mindfulness meditation practice. You could bring in a compassion focus for your mindfulness meditation practice. Mindfulness meditation is so easy to adapt that this is why I recommend starting with mindfulness meditation. It's the practice I still use to this day, and it's just so easy and simple, and I love it. And I've linked below a 15-minute guided mindfulness meditation practice that you could use if you need a guide. Because the other thing was that maybe some of us could think, oh, we're going to meditate, then we sit down in stillness and silence with no guided recording, and it could be challenging. So I want to recommend listening to a guided meditation if you're very new and you want to have someone guide you. Definitely listen to my free guided meditation that's linked below. Alright, so that's the first one, is trying too many different meditations when you first begin. The next thing I want to mention is another important part of your practice is working with intention or gratitude. This is another mistake I see, is that you need some kind of goal or intention for your practice. Why are you practicing meditation? If your intention or goal is to sit down and clear your mind, this is not a good intention. This is a side effect of meditation, but it shouldn't be your main goal or focus for the practice. A better intention for your practice would be, hey, I'm here to take care of my mental health. I want to take care of my well-being. And I know sitting and breathing and just allowing my observation mode to come into focus here is going to make me present and improve my well-being. For me, meditation has always been about connection. Staying connected to myself, understanding myself, knowing myself, who am I? For a very long time, I was disconnected from myself. I was doing work that I did not feel passionate about. And this could play out in other areas of our life as well. In relationships, maybe we're in a relationship that is not really bringing our best selves forward or making us feel good. So I felt so disconnected from myself, and I had heard wonderful things about meditation. I'm like, I'm going to give this a try and see how it goes. And whew, I had so many realizations that changed my life in meditation. I felt much more centered, focused, calm. I had a very overactive and busy mind before I started practicing meditation. Now my mind is much more spacious. I have more mental clarity. I could manage different emotional experiences better. So meditation made such a huge impact in my life that I was like, I need to share this with people so they could experience the same wonderful thing. So that's how I started meditating, and my goal was always to understand myself and to connect to myself and really just take a moment to take care of myself. For me, meditation feels like the ultimate self-care practice. So this is always my bigger intention before I even go into meditation and start meditating. And then once I get into the meditation, sometimes I realize another intention comes forward, something as simple as, I feel really tired today, I'm going to do less today and just focus on resting. Or, wow, I feel like so energized, I think I could do more things today. So again, coming into this observer mode and noticing how you're feeling and thinking naturally lets your secondary intention arise in the practice, and it's such a beautiful thing. So you could either work with intention or gratitude. Now I think we all know there's so much science behind working with gratitude and having a gratitude practice that it's kind of a no-brainer to bring into your meditation. So in my one-to-one classes, I always work with intention or gratitude at the end of the practice. And it's a way to close and end your practice kind of on this high note of remembering the things that you're grateful for and that you have in your life. Because if we spend so much time thinking about the things that we don't have or that we don't want, these are the things that we're energizing in our life. So meditation is an attention training practice of noticing where we're holding attention and our focus and moving it to a new place. So it's a beautiful thing. This is why I'm telling you have to meditate. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, the third biggest mistake I see people making in their meditation practice is not having a breathing technique for their meditation practice. They just sit down and they're in their meditation and that's it. No. I highly recommend a breathing practice. In my guided meditation, the one I linked below, the 15-minute free guided meditation, there's a breathing practice we're working with there. But I made a video on a breathing practice, a 2-minute breathing practice that you could use at the beginning of your meditation. If you have your own practice, I'm going to link that below, and you could watch that and learn that technique before you jump into your own meditation. And that's going to help you calm your energy when you first sit down to meditate. Because a lot of us could experience restlessness. We're noticing the mind is going. And this practice, this breathing technique is going to help you settle your energy, calm the mind, and just work with any discomfort when you first sit down. It's really going to help you. Of course, you want to make sure your body feels comfortable when you're sitting in meditation. Once you have the comfort in the body, then go into the breathing practice to calm the mind. The mind and breath are closely connected, so definitely make time for a 2-minute breathing practice at the beginning of your meditation practice. It's going to make a big difference. It's going to completely transform your practice. And you'll probably be able to sit longer in meditation too. And your meditation practice could even just be a breathing practice where you're focusing on the breath. The breath is always the main anchor of awareness, but that could be your breathing practice. Hey, I'm going to sit here and breathe for 10 minutes, set my intention, and that's it. Now, that is a perfect practice in itself. The reason why I love mindfulness meditation is that we are observing our thoughts and our emotions, sensations, feelings. And it's really through this neutral observer that we're taking that we learn a lot about ourselves. So this is why I love mindfulness meditation. It gives you an opportunity to learn so much about yourself. So definitely work with a breathing technique in your practice. The next thing I want to talk about for your meditation practice, a lot of us could have too many expectations for our meditation practice. Oh, I meditated today and it was terrible because I didn't experience full inner peace. I meditated today, my mind was so busy, it was horrible. If you have the expectation that, okay, I'm going to sit in meditation and clear my mind, this is not it. This is, again, a side effect of meditation is that your mind becomes more spacious and clear for sure. But if that is your main intention in meditation, it's kind of I want to say, you could have a better intention, like I'm going to sit here and take care of myself. I'm going to sit here and breathe. I want to take care of my mental health. Like, these are great intentions. Because I will say the beautiful thing with meditation is that no effort ever goes to waste. Now, yes, you want to make sure you are practicing effectively. You want to make sure that you are using techniques that are increasing your focus and concentration. I made a couple videos on mudra meditation techniques and inner points of focus, which really increase your focus and concentration and meditation. So I'll also link those below. But we do want to experience peace and calmness, but we want to make sure that we are having the right expectations for our practice. So I want to recommend letting go of your expectations for meditation and just working with whatever comes up in your practice. A huge part of the meditation that I'm teaching in my program is a core concept and theme is non-resistance and acceptance. And when we work with this, it is just going to free up a lot of energy and bring a lot more peace. We have to let go a little bit of expectations. Yes, we have some goals for our practice. We want to make sure we're practicing properly and correctly to get closer to our goals. But again, we want to let go of our expectations so we could just work with what is happening in our meditation instead of fighting it. All right, so the last mistake I see a lot of practitioners making is not setting up their meditation space. I can't express how important it is for you to make a very comfortable and soothing space for your practice. I don't recommend that you sit in your work chair. I recommend you create a whole different space for meditation. And I've even made a whole video on how to set up your meditation altar and space so you could have a really enjoyable practice. But that's going to be really important. You want to make sure it's free of clutter, it's a clean environment. I would even recommend a space that's free from a lot of foot traffic. And if you could have your own meditation seat for your practice, meaning you're the only one sitting in that chair, I highly recommend that. You're going to build up this meditative energy in that space, in that spot you're sitting in. So for it to be just your own, I highly recommend that, because what's going to happen is as soon as you sit in that spot, you're going to notice you feel this kind of meditative energy, this calm, present energy arising just by being there. And it's such a beautiful thing. So highly recommend you create a nice, beautiful space for your practice, because your environment does really impact your practice overall. All right, so those were my 5 tips of the 5 biggest mistakes that you're making in meditation. I'm curious to know, where any of those mistakes are you making? Please be sure to like this video if you found it useful. Of course, if you want to go deeper in your meditation practice, please reach out for one-to-one classes. I would love to help you make the most beautiful self-care routine for yourself. And that's it for today. I hope to see you next week. Until then, stay present.